Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear kids, how's life? I hope and I pray that you are well. Alhamdulillah. Welcome to another session of SST with me. Today I'm going to talk to you about deserts. Well, if you see, so what type of houses do you find here? Do you know the names of these houses? And what type of clothes do you see these people in deserts wear? And what animals do you find over here? I have a list over here. Please go through that. Right. So today we are going to discuss Thar Desert. A desert is a dry region that gets less rainfall. You see, it's quite natural. If any region that does not get enough rainfall, good rainfall, if it gets very less rainfall, the soil, the land, the grass, the vegetation, the animals of that region turns out to be very dry, and it has sandy soil which is not fertile. It's very important. Like in Maharashtra as well, there are some places like Vidarbha where you get scanty rainfall, very less rainfall, but it doesn't have sandy soil. Over a long period of time, when you don't get good rainfall, the land turns barren. That is different. But here in deserts, you have sandy soil. There are two kinds of deserts, one hot, the other one cold. Only a few plants and animals are found in the deserts. This is one example of hot desert, and here we have cold desert. These plants and animals have adapted to the harsh weather conditions of the desert. We are blessed, all the living things are blessed with a scientific technique called adaptation. God Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has blessed us with adaptation. Like where we spend a long time, we get used to it. So, the conditions in deserts are very extreme, they are very harsh, they are not good for us. But over a period of time, we adapt to it. Now, Thar Desert lies in the northwestern part of India. You can see here, majorly it lies under Rajasthan. Thar Desert is also called Western Desert or the Great Indian Desert. Thar Desert is a hot desert, as you see. It is the seventh largest desert in the world. Seventh largest. It lies in Rajasthan and covers some parts of Haryana, Punjab, and a little part of Gujarat. It is bordered by the Indus River, right here, flowing from Pakistan in the west, and Punjab Plains in the north. The Aravalli mountain range borders it in the southeast. Southeast. And the Run of Kutch in the south, right here in Gujarat. Run of Kutch. So, what do you think? A desert has sandy soil. Is it true? The Thar Desert lies in Haryana and Punjab. Do you think that is true? Or the Indus River Plains borders the Thar Desert in the west? In the previous explanation over here, do you think the Indus River Plains is mentioned? So complete this, true or false. Right here, deserts once again. The climate of the desert is hot and dry. It's very hot and very dry. Why dry? Because you don't find much water in the surroundings. That's why the climate is dry, not humid. The days are very hot and the nights are very cold. On a hot summer day, the temperature can go up to 50 degrees Celsius. Oh my God, Allahu Akbar. I don't know how people live over there. But it's very difficult to live in 50 degrees Celsius. In Aurangabad, in extreme weather conditions, on any hot day in Aurangabad, the temperature goes up maximum to 44 or 45 degrees Celsius. And difference of 1 degree can cause you skin burns. So in the winter, it can go down to less than 10 degrees. See the difference: 10 degrees cold, 50 degrees hot, difference of 40 degrees. The temperature gap is too much. Therefore, it is difficult for plants and animals to survive over here, to live over here. It's very difficult for these creations. Um, what do you think? The days are very hot and the nights are very cold in deserts. Can you do some experiment at home with some sand? Put it in sunlight. Some sand in a tray, put it in sunlight, and some water in a tray, put it together with the sand. Check which material heats up quickly. Will it be the sand or will it be water? Tell me your answer with a picture. So, Thar Desert has sand dunes in the Thar Desert. You see these mountains of sand. All right, they are not very hard because they can blow with wind, they can blow away. Heavy winds blow in deserts, and because of that, those dunes are formed. One of the most notable features of the Thar Desert is its sand dunes. These sand dunes are mounds or hills of sand formed by strong winds. As there is not much vegetation, winds keep changing the form and location of these sand dunes. So maybe one day you'll find these sand dunes here, the other day it will be here, and the other day it will be somewhere in the other part of that desert because of no vegetation around. The winds changes their directions. Subhanallah.
The Great Indian Desert. Location and states covered. The Great Indian Desert is also known as the Thar Desert or the Western Desert. It is majorly located in the Indian state of Rajasthan and extends into Gujarat, Punjab, and Haryana. A part of it lies in the Punjab Sindh region of Pakistan. Major cities. Around half of the population of Rajasthan lives in the Thar Desert. Jodhpur, Bikaner, and Jaisalmer are the famous cities located in the Thar Desert. Physical features. The desert is majorly covered with high and low shifting sand dunes. They are sandy plains and low barren hills occurring in between the sand dunes. Many salty lake beds are spread across the desert. Soil particles found here are generally very coarse. Vegetation. The natural vegetation of the Thar Desert consists of stunted trees, bushes, shrubs, and herbs. Trees that can survive in very little rainfall and extreme temperatures are found growing in small groups. There is more vegetation in the eastern regions as compared to the western regions. Some important plants like gum, Arabic acacia, and euphorbia grow on the rocky hill slopes, while the khajri plant grows in the plains. Wildlife. The Thar Desert is home to wildlife such as golden fox, caracal, around 25 types of snakes, and 23 types of lizards. The great Indian bustard, black buck, chinkara, and the Indian wild ass are also found here. In villages, it is a common sight to see peacocks sitting on kajri or peepal trees. Culture. Every year, the Rajasthan Desert Festival is held during the winter season. People wear colorful clothes and jewelry as they often come together to sing and dance till late night. The rich culture of Rajasthan is depicted in their folk songs and traditional dresses. Snake charmers, puppeteers, acrobats, and folk performers take part in this fair. Camels are an important part of the festival.
Now, Antarctica is the largest desert on the earth, but it is not a hot desert, it is a cold desert and remains covered in snow throughout the year. It is the driest, windiest, and coldest place on the earth. Which place are we talking about? Antarctica Desert. Right, so do you think this is a hot desert or a cold desert? Absolutely, this is one river of our Thar Desert. It's Luni. Most water sources or most of the rivers in the Thar Desert have become dry. They don't have water. There's one river called Luni that flows through this region, but again, it is a seasonal river. Seasonal means it has water only because of rainy season flowing from different parts of India. And the area gets most of its water supply from the Indira Gandhi Canal. And Indira Gandhi Canal is the largest, one of the largest canals in India. You see, this is River Luni, and it has many tributaries as well, but it doesn't have water throughout the year. It is a seasonal river. Then this is our Indira Gandhi Canal. The area of the Thar Desert gets water majorly from Indira Gandhi Canal. So, what do you think a sand dune is? And what type of climate does the Thar Desert have? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it very hot in summers? Is it very cold in winters? Which river flows through the Thar Desert? Is it Ganga, Jamuna, or Luni? Name the major source of water. Which water body or which water source provide water to Thar Desert? Allahu Akbar. What is this now? Yes, it's called oasis. And in the Thar Desert, at some places, underground water comes to the surface. This underground water coming out to the surface is called oasis. People settle near these oases. Why do you think people settle near oasis? What is the major reason? If you remember our previous lessons, you can clearly answer this. Previous lesson like basin, Ganga basin, Brahmaputra basin, Indus basin. Think over it. And what's this? It looks like plants and vegetation. So, certain plants such as date palms and cacti grow in the oasis regions. Some of the other commonly found plants are thorny bushes, shrubs, acacia, and desert teak. This is acacia over here. Acacia, we also have some acacia trees in Aurangabad. Yes, we do. Babul. Babul is a type of acacia trees. The plants of this region do not need as much water as other plants need. The cactus has long and strong roots that go deep into the ground and they absorb water and minerals from the soil. We know roots are important for plants because they take water from the soil. So, if you want to grow well, if you want to have good knowledge, good understanding, good career, you need to have strong roots. Welcome to Roots and Wings. Its spines prevent water loss due to heat, and it stores food and water in the thick stem. The stems of these plants in deserts have thick stem. You can see one more example over here. They can store water, food and water in them. Yeah, date palms. So, ocean. This place is called Ocean. It is an oasis and a very populated oasis near Jodhpur in Rajasthan. Jodhpur is a very important city of Rajasthan. It is famous for its temples and is a popular tourist spot. Jodhpur is a very important city of Rajasthan. It is famous for its temples and is a very popular tourist spot. You can see many temple tents are made over here, and they are kind of tourist destinations. Animals. What animals do we find in Thar Desert? The camel is a popular desert animal, you know that. It can survive with little water for a very long period of time. It stores water in its hump and its feet have broad cushion. The feet has broad cushion pads that support the camel to walk or run on loose sand. Other animals that you find in Thar Desert, but before we talk about them, what kind of animal is camel? Is it called the ship of the desert or does it have any other name? Think over it. And what is the benefit of these cushion pads? Why do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them these pads or humps? Why? Great Indian bustard, this Indian gazelle, blackbuck, Indian wild ass, fox, desert cat, eagle, scorpion, and different types of snakes are other common animals that are found here. I want you to Google these animals, find their pictures, find how they look like. What is the difference between blackbuck and a deer? Why do you think deer is not found there in big quantity in deserts? These are many questions which we can think of when we are talking about a new place. Thar Desert is an interesting place for us. Then, people in Thar Desert, the climate, right, it's very hot. Water, very less. Vegetation, very less. What do you think then? People will live there? Not really. Because of the extreme climate, because of lack of water, lack of vegetation, it's very difficult for people to live there. And most of the houses have thick walls, small windows, flat roofs to keep them cool. And the farmers manage to grow some crops such as barley and millets. And where do they get water from them for that? Indira Gandhi National Canal.
People in the Thar Desert. What comes to your mind when you see an extremely hot and drought-stricken area? Yes, we remember deserts. Living in a desert needs special adaptations. Just like camels have adapted themselves. They can store water in their hump and survive with little water for long periods of time. There is a desert in India. Its name is the Thar Desert. It lies in the northwestern part of India. Vignesh visits his friend Gautam's house in Jaisalmer, which is in the Thar Desert. Vignesh feels very hot. Gautam tells him about the extreme climate in his area. He also tells him that the lack of water and vegetation make it difficult for the people to live there. He observes that Gautam's house has thick walls, small windows and flat roofs. Gautam says that this kind of house keeps them cool. The farmers manage to grow crops such as barley and millets. Most of the water for crops comes through the Indira Gandhi Canal. The famous cities in Rajasthan are Jaipur, Jodhpur, Bikaner, Udaipur, Ajmer, and Jaisalmer. People here wear bright and colorful dresses. Many people are engaged in the handicraft industry to earn their livelihood. Some people also rear camels for their milk, carrying load, drawing water, and for plowing fields. The Thar Desert has extreme climate. The houses in the Thar Desert have thick walls, small windows, and flat roofs. The major cultivations include barley and millets. People wear bright and colorful dresses. Most of the people earn their livelihood from the handicraft industry.
The famous cities of Jaipur, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Bikaner, Udaipur, and Ajmer are very special for Rajasthan. The people wear bright and colorful dresses. Some people rear camels for their milk, carrying load, drawing water, and plowing fields. This is the benefit of camels in deserts because it's not used only for one purpose. They use it for many different things, for the milk, for load, for drawing water from wells, and for plowing their fields, because we can see that some people do farming for barley and millets as well, and that's why it's called the sheep, not the sheep ship of the desert. Many people are engaged in the handicraft industry to earn their livelihood. What is handicraft? This, all the materials made by hand. You can find different gift items, the baskets, the mats, the buckets. There are different handicraft materials. There are many educational aids and tools as well made by hand in Rajasthan. I also want you to find out who are Banjaras and make some fact sheet about them. Collect information from the internet, ask your parents, interact with them, call your friends, and discuss Banjara activities. Do this checkpoint and get back to me on WhatsApp. Now, who's this young man? He's Rajendra Singh, the waterman of India. And why do you think he is called the waterman of India? Well, because with the help of people from rural Rajasthan, he built mud dams, and mud dams are called as johats. These are johats for collecting rainwater. We have one dam in Aurangabad as well, Jaikwadi Dam, and it is one of the biggest dams of Maharashtra. But we are talking about johats. Johats, these are dams made of mud, so they don't need much money to make these dams. But today, after working for about 20 years, there are about 8,600 johats mud dams in Rajasthan that provide water to more than 1,000 villages in Rajasthan. Allahu Akbar. See, what can one man do? That's why never think that you are alone. Always pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can do something big, something different. That's it, guys. It brings us to the end of this lesson. What have we covered? We have covered that Rajasthan has Thar Desert, and in the major part of Rajasthan, we have Thar Desert. Thar is bordered by Indus River plains in the west, Punjab plains in the north, Run of Kutch in the south. Strong winds sweep away sand and forms sand dunes. What is the major source of water? It's Indira Gandhi Canal. But during rainy season, they get seasonal river Luni filled. Date palms, cactus, and acacia are some of the plants that grow here. Animals such as camel, great Indian bustard, Indian gazelle, blackbuck, and scorpion are some of the animals which are found here. Population is very less because of extreme climatic conditions, less water, less vegetation. People are engaged in farming in a very small quantity. Animal rearing for camels, especially, and handicraft industry to earn their livelihood. So these are some of the animals which are found there, and most of the carnivorous animal in the deserts stay inside their shelter during the daytime, and they come out to hunt for food at night. How amazing! But why do you think they do it? Why do they come out at night only? Why don't they hunt during the daytime? What happens to them if they come out in the daytime? Do you think the climate has anything to do with it? Or do you think that vegetation has anything to do with it? Think and respond. So, canal. Indira Gandhi Canal, when was it built? And where does it get its water supply from? You see, Punjab and major parts of Rajasthan. Canal is an artificial source of water. Canal helps transfer water from one place to another. It is used to supply water. And Indira Gandhi Canal, it is one of the largest canals built in India. But when was it built? Find it out, discover it. This is the picture for that canal on your screen. Now, do some math fun. Use HCF to answer this camel question. And homeless people. We observe in our surroundings that there are many homeless people who live on streets. Is there any way that we can help them? Think of three ways in which you can help them, keeping in mind the three basic needs: food, clothing, and shelter. Roti, kapda, or makan. And the Sahara Desert is the largest hot desert in the world. It is even bigger than the Thar Desert. It is also the hottest place on the earth with temperatures reaching up to 50 degrees Celsius. Find out about two rivers that flow through this region. And for the last point of this lesson, overgrazing. What do you understand by overgrazing? And it is said that overgrazing can make a land desert like. But what is exactly overgrazing? We know that grazing of animals is needed so that animals can find their food from the grass available. How can this overgrazing be prevented? So, it brings us to the closure of the lesson. Thanks for watching the lesson and happy learning. Assalamu alaikum.